Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tinfoil Sunday. How's everyone doing? It is another Tinfoil stream. For Costume Month, you picked the Tinfoil Queen. I am putting on the poll, by the way, an upgraded tinfoil outfit. My tinfoil outfit needs a drastic upgrade. And frankly, I shouldn't tell you this, because then you won't vote for it, but even if it doesn't get voted for, I need to upgrade the tinfoil look. It's not becoming of me, you know? How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Hey, Mr. Blast. Paradona with 100 bits says, "Hello, chat. I want to play a game. While you watch me day in, day out, there are purveyors of tinfoil in your local communities that spread the same lies, jeopardizing everyone's health and sanity. I want you to probe the depths of your own biases and root out those things that might make you wear a foil hat unironically. Watch or touch grass. Make your choice." Wow, I'm really bad at a saw voice. That also hurts my throat. Halloween Town, thanks for a 3-stream streak, says... Or did I say Halloween? I'm bad at a saw voice. Michael Myers doesn't talk. Halloween Town says, "What's the best Jimmy Neutron episode and why is it the one where they go to Egypt?" That is a good one, and it did change Libby, which is good. But, my favorite one was where they swapped bodies, Jimmy and, Cindy. Sure, there's nothing to look into there. It is Star Trek Day. I haven't seen any of the trailers or anything. Altered Undying says, "Good news and bad news. Bad news, my monitor died. Good news, my husband let me buy a new monitor and a 32-inch gaming monitor." Nice. Glad you were able to get a replacement. Hello, YouTube. How you doing? If you could like the stream. Eustace Plimsoll and Densetsu, how you doing? Glad they gave Libby her dreads. Agreed. Agreed. We have a bunch of tinfoil to look into today, as well as, Wretched Recess. Oh boy, she's got a video. So let's get into it. We are playing bingo, so feel free to get your bingo cards. Other than that, we can get started.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 9/5/24. Okay, I got the boot on now. Well, you can't really see it, but show it to you tomorrow. You ever been to the lake?
I've been to the lake.
No, I really do. The lake is a fun place to be. Especially on those calm days. You know,
yeah, if anyone missed it and hasn't seen CC in a while, he got in an accident and had some sort of issue with his foot or leg. Don't know the specifics. Sounds like a car hit him, but I'm not sure.
Beautiful calm days, you know, where the lake is just still as can be. Like a reflection, a mirror. So you have to understand, as still as that lake looks, they want you to believe you're flipping over backwards and forwards and traveling at this enormous speed through space.
Right, but the lake isn't doing that relative to the Earth because the lake is on the Earth and shares its inertial reference frame. That's not how that works. Thank you, Hazemaker. Appreciate it. Absolute Disgrace, thanks for 19 months.
Movement, but you don't sense it. Where is that movement, that they're talking about? Where is all this amazing hundreds of thousands of miles of speed that we're traveling? Where is that movement? Better yet, where is the curve? Where is it? We can't find it. We don't feel ourselves moving. And nobody can tell us why.
Is the curve in the room with us right now? Seriously though, Chris, it's there. It's just that you're so close to the surface of the Earth you can't see it at ground level. You have to be pretty high to be able to see enough of a distance within your, like, field of view to be able to see the curvature.
Nobody can tell us about the Coriolis effect. Yeah, that would be the sharpshooters, when they're shooting something from hundreds of feet away. They never take an effect of any movement at all with the surface of Earth. Yet
they have to take into account the drop if it's long enough. World record shots have had to take the curvature into account. Fun fact.
To believe that it's traveling at 1,000 miles per hour. See, I used to play Flight Simulator when I was a kid, and I always sucked at it because I didn't have the right joystick, and it just
What's Fight Simulator?
was crap. I was playing it off my Apple IIe computer, so that was a big calculator for the generations that are out there right now because they didn't know how to program, they didn't know how to code. That's all that computer basically was there for. But anyway, there was no Windows back then.
Oh, Flight Simulator. That makes more sense.
Windows wasn't invented until '95. Okay? That's made it simple for anybody to get on the computer now and enjoy themselves. And relax.
He's already working himself up. This poor guy's blood pressure.
See,
like he just works himself up standing in a kitchen alone. Imagine how stressful your life would be if you just sat there and just stressed yourself out about things that aren't even true. And you just sat there and you just, in a circle, thought these thoughts over and over and over and over. Exhausting.
Flight Simulator never had or simulated the Earth moving while you were landing the plane. I mean, it was hard enough to land that fucking thing with the shitty joystick you had for your Apple IIe or Apple IIc computer.
Because you don't have to, Chris, because that's not how it appears. Again, the plane is in the atmosphere. The plane took off from Earth. It shared its momentum even when it took off. There was nothing stopping it from continuing to have that momentum, so it still has it even when it lands. That's not how this works.
Let alone having Earth moving like that. But we're yet to believe that's what it's doing. Because when you look at Earth from far away from these supposed satellites, this fake CGI pic, that one, I love that one, the one that has Earth moving, and then all of a sudden the moon pops up like this. It's a black, well, not black, it's just a gray, dusty thing. So I'm going to get into that in a second. It's all CGI, it's all bullshit. We don't have anything out there. You can't get out there. The radiation belt, the Van Allen belt, basically says that there's a dome up there. They had to come up with something,
Doesn't say there's a dome. Trey says, in the 30s, Admiral Willis Lee literally wrote the book on taking into account the rotation and curvature of the Earth to shoot people from very, very far away. 22 miles. I assume that's for artillery. Miss Quilanius with a 20-stream streak says someone should tell CC programming doesn't exist. The elites just want to trick you into thinking it's not angels inside a box doing math. And Spokane Dogman says Windows 1 through 3 were released before Windows 95. That's just when Windows 95 dropped, which is when I think the first flight simulator dropped too.
Apparently we never really went through it. That's what some astronauts said, but I thought we freely flew through it several times. If I remember correctly, that would be the Apollo missions. God, jeez.
The rates of people who have been to space getting cancer are higher than the general population. So yeah, going into space does increase your radiation exposure. Something people have less of a stomach for, because if we want to consistently go to space, then that needs to be something that's dealt with. You can't just have that because it's really not good for people's health. People in the past have taken that risk upon themselves because, well, for a variety of reasons, but some of it's the Cold War.
This fairy tale land that they come up with, and people, they don't question it, they don't do anything, they don't think for themselves. They just want to fight you, because I had that belief too. I believe we lived on this fairy land. I believed in all of it. I admit it. I'm not ashamed to say it. But then when I looked through it, I pulled it apart, and I said to myself, hey, this isn't real. This couldn't be possible. Just like when they took pictures on the moon. How is that possible?
Tripod.
How is that possible? One night I was sleeping, I had the door open. We have a screen door in the front over there so no bugs would come in. And the main door opened, beautiful outside. The moon was traversing through the sky like it always does. Full moon, bright as can be, almost as bright as the sun. What do you think it looks like on the surface there? What camera could possibly take a picture of anything on the surface of that? Because all the pictures we ever see of this gray, dusty surface. That's what it is. Nothing bright at all. No resolution.
You know you can change the exposure and brightness level on a camera, right?
Completely.
This is the same reason you guys complain, like, why can't we see stars on footage from the moon? It's because they have to turn down the exposure because of the brightness of the surface.
Gone. But yet it's a little gray spot. Where is the crater of the
Hey, Polyaz's Cracker, how's it going?
Apollo 11 when it landed?
And thank you, Run Trip Fall. Yes, if you could like the stream on YouTube.
Nowhere to be found. Of course not. Why would there be? It's different, it's different up there. There's no atmosphere, so it doesn't move around, I guess, right? Yeah. Fairy tale land, hello. Apparently in the summertime, the sun is further away from Earth. That's fairy tale land.
Again, no, it's not. That is not the explanation for the seasons. It has to do with the angle of the Earth, basically. It's axial tilt. It's not even the same season, like in the northern and southern atmosphere at the same time. When it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter in the southern atmosphere. Or southern hemisphere, sorry, I said atmosphere. But like, oh god, he just doesn't understand things at a fundamental level, and because of that misunderstanding, it leads him to believe that the models we have are wrong, when in reality it's that he doesn't understand the models.
Okay. It's further away, but it's hotter here on Earth when the sun is further away, or than it is when it's closer to us in the wintertime. Wow, that doesn't make any sense either. Oh, it's the angular perspective that you get when the sun...
The axial tilt, you get more sunlight per square foot in the summer, and less in the winter. That's like the definitions of summer and winter. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, most flat earthers and conspiracy theorists in general have this unearned arrogance that stems from their beliefs, so they make their videos with this smugness. Cece has the smugness, but he's also angry at times. Cece's one of the worst for me in terms of smugness, and it's so unearned. At least with other conspiracy theorists, they put up the pretense of putting work into something, like they'll do some math incorrectly, or they'll misunderstand something, but they'll at least do something. Chris doesn't even do that. He doesn't even, like, put up the smoke screen that he's doing quote-unquote research. He just yells in his car or in his kitchen. So frustrating.
Sun hits it a certain way, or what excuse could they possibly come up with? I was looking. Have you ever heard about the Dyson ball? Okay, that would be
a Dyson sphere? The hypothetical sci-fi thing that would go around a sun and collect all of its energy?
A spacecraft, well, not a spacecraft, a city that would be around one of these stars, suns.
Not a city, but like, it would be basically a sphere that would go around an entire star and it would collect all of its energy. It's a hypothetical sci-fi thing. Gitara says, I'm no expert, so my reasoning might sound dumb, but the Earth looks like a bright light in the skies of other planets, but we can stand on Earth and take pictures of stuff here just fine. Mars also looks like a bright dot in the sky, but we've seen the pictures of the surface of Mars from the various robots we've sent there. I feel like the same would be for the moon. Yeah.
Up there in fairy tale land. We all know that doesn't exist. We're covered with a dome, but I'm just, going into Star Trek land over here. And, one of these cities would just...
Initially, my brain wants to go Star Trek. They didn't have the technology to do Dyson spheres, but there is one TNG episode where they do find a Dyson sphere from an extinct civilization. So I gotta give him a point on that one. It is from Relics. It's the episode where Scotty returns. He put himself in the transport buffer, and he basically kept himself alive in there for decades. It's a good episode. Never comes up again, though. Weird that they found a Dyson sphere and it just never comes up, but that's Star Trek. Cloud Wizard with 27 months. Thank you. This sub-baby's name is gonna be... Welshie.
Just cover the sun, and they have an unlimited amount of
Welshie doin'.
power. And then while I was flipping through, of course, YouTube suggests bullshit to you. Then all of a sudden, I think it was on one of the space magazines, that the, what's that new telescope out there? The James Webb telescope, whatever the fuck his name is. They think they found a Dyson ball. Not too far away. And they've got a picture of it too and everything. Fairy tale land. Welcome, guys. Enjoy fairy tale land. Oh, jeez, Lord. Oh, my God. Help us. Help them. That's all I have to say. Okay? That's it. Help them. Meteors. Another thing I love. What are these things falling out of the sky? I have no idea, but I'll tell you, if you get high enough and you throw shit out of your plane, or whatever the hell you might be doing, it's going to come crashing down and actually look like what a meteor should look like, and I think that's what they're doing.
He thinks all meteors are stuff thrown out of planes, like in Joe Dirt?
1992, there was a supposed object that landed on the back of somebody's trunk in March in Peekskill, New York, not too far away from where I am here on the East Coast. Apparently the scientists were out there at one point and they were recording this traverse through the sky. We don't have any proof of that. Remember, this is 1992, before cell phones, you know, that had cameras on it.
Or camera phones. Okay, he corrected himself.
Yet,
that's fine.
with all the billions of phones that are out there right now, billions of them, billions and billions and billions of phones, not a single meteor has ever been... They pretty much captured everything else.
There are absolutely videos of meteors hitting the Earth on YouTube. Look, I'll do it. It'll take 5 seconds. Video... I don't need to put video. Meteor crashing. Look, here's a myriad of videos of asteroids or meteors crashing to the Earth. It's almost like it would not be that difficult to look this up. There's the Russia one. This is the Russia one from, I think, 2013.
Yes. But... Through the blue.
So that's fun.
I mean, check any social networking, but they haven't been able to capture a meteor actually landing and exploding and creating, that's right, a crater. I've yet to see one. Have you? No, you haven't. Oh.
I haven't seen quicksand either. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. MH Sharkbeast says, did we ever watch this? It's Cuckoo Bananas. I don't think we did. We will definitely take a look at that next.
Oh, you can't take your camera out in time. Oh, maybe. But yet we've yet to see that. We've yet to see a meteor go up above the horizon. Should have, with all these millions of incidents that happens.
No, Chris, again, I think you're underestimating the size of the Earth, like, by a lot. Olded Undying says, Anne Elizabeth Fowler Hodges is rolling in her grave. She was hit in the side by a meteor. Yeah, I heard about that. By a meteorite, rather. You're right, because of the size.
With these meteors that are going back and forth in meteor showers, never once coming up the horizon.
It's a matter of perspective. You're on the ground, so of course it doesn't look like that to you because they're coming down.
Turning or anything else. Never. Never. You know why? Because God wants you to think, he or she, whoever it may be, planted these Easter eggs for you to figure out and say, that's wrong. Something's weird here. They're telling us nonsense. They're telling us fairyland. Thank you for subbing and thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Oh, Chris.
Warning, this episode may contain content that is not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm supposed to start working here today. My name is Haru.
Oh god, what is... They're gonna complain about the Pokemon movie?
Welcome to the... More than one of these types or
Pokémon means pocket monster, or having pocket-sized demons as friends. There seems to be more than
Monsters aren't demons!
one of these
Demons can be monsters. That doesn't mean all monsters are demons, okay? I've thought about this thoroughly. Vitara says, Hannah, do you remember that meteor that exploded over the skies of Michigan a few years ago? I was living in Livonia at the time, and I remember it tearing through the sky and shaking the ground beneath me, and it exploded and rocked the whole neighborhood. It was incredible and terrifying all at once. I guess I don't remember that. That's interesting, though.
types of games that have a theme of calling up or communicating with demons.
Again, Pokemon are not demons. In the Pokemon universe, Pokemon are just basically the animal population. Even humans in Pokemon technically are a kind of Pokemon. I know it's weird. It's just, it is what it is.
The show is full of witches and demons and even a gender-bending character.
People with flash and passion.
To give our Pokemon pretty faces.
To extend our art to outer
Based.
spaces.
Jesse.
James.
Jesse!
Listen to me, kid. When you get involved with the opposite sex, you're only asking for trouble.
Yes, and that's the kind of trouble I stay out of.
I didn't remember that line. That's pretty good.
I am a flaming Moltres!
I think that costume came right out of his closet.
When Pokemon Go was released in the US and became an instant hit, fans were running all over the towns and cities trying to collect as many pocket demons as possible. This anime nudged its
They're
fandom
not demons.
one step.
If you wanted it to at least be like ghosts or something, you could like go after Yokai Watch. At least that's more similar to what you're talking about. There probably is a specific like anime that is catching demons or something. That might be a thing. Not this.
Closer to inviting demons into their physical space. Not something you ever want to do
I don't think we just have demonic on the bingo card.
if you're a true believer in the spiritual realm.
You done talking already? Sad face. People freak out about literally anything. Kinda sad. Alright, let's get to the He-Man video. Where did I put it? Somewhere around here. Very organized, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I'm pretty excited for this one, I'm not gonna lie.
Full background.
H. Barrett says, I'm pretty sure Pokemon Go was created by demons. It led to this. Oh no.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Come on! We're gonna be okay, we're gonna be okay. 2016 Hillary Clinton can't hurt you. That's the past. Briar Rose said, Shin Megami Tensei series is all about contracts with demons. Well, there you go. They should go after that then. Alright. In this episode, Wretched Recess dares to ask the question no one has ever asked before. Is He-Man kinda gay?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let me make the disclaimer. I come in peace. I have gay friends and family. There is no gay bashing in this video.
I'm gonna press X to doubt. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say I'm doubting that this is gonna come off benign, but okay.
But that doesn't change the fact that this is the gayest cartoon I have ever seen. So let's talk about it. So like years ago, like more than 15 years ago, I was out visiting a friend in California, and you know nothing good is going to come from that story, but
Just just one of the most populous states. We're just gonna act like it's a no man's land, like you're going to a Mad Maxian world.
He was like, we were on the Sunset Strip, and I remember he was like, I have to drive you through Boys Town. And
remember, she said she has gay friends, so this isn't gonna be hateful. Definitely not gonna be hateful.
I was like, okay, like I was pretty sheltered. I'm not from California. I'm from the Midwest. And I think he knew that and was just trying to show me new things.
And as we all know, as someone from the Midwest, there are no gays here at all. Benekagami says, Hillary was literally the only candidate who could lose to Donald Trump, and candidate so pathetic that in 2020 he lost to Joe Biden. Yeah.
Things.
Make sure you go vote, everyone. Check your registration.
And,
multiple times.
He's like, yeah, we're going to drive through Boys Town. I'm like, what's Boys Town? But, like just from the name, I could kind of guess. So we're driving down this city street. I remember it being near.
Is she just going to be weirded out that she saw like men kissing or something?
The Sunset Strip. It wasn't that far away. He lived in like the Santa Monica area. So I had to Google the name of this just to make sure I had the right, this was years ago, just to make sure I had the right name. But we're driving down the street and all of a sudden, like we get to this part of town when like, it's like an ocean of men and they're walking down the street, like giving each other piggyback rides and kissing and hugging.
Gasp! The most lewd act of all, a piggyback ride. These people are clearly the downfall of Western civilization. We can't have this in our neighborhoods. Gay agenda on the bingo card.
And canoodling on the sidewalk and everything. And the reason I'm telling you this is because, like,
did I see the Michigan I voted Wolf Junior High sticker? I did. It's badass.
Point.
I want it.
That was probably the gayest thing I've ever seen, which makes sense.
I mean, yeah, they're gay. It's always so funny when there's a homophobic person who sees like something that's literally gay and they'll be like, whoa, that's like really gay. And it's like, yeah, man, like gayness isn't just an insult that you use. It's like people are actually gay. Yes, gay people exist. Yes. What?
Was in a very gay district, gay area of a very big city. All right. Boys Town in Los Angeles pales in comparison to the gayness I'm about to show you. Let's get into it. So
that's the most beautiful timing on a jump cut I've ever seen in my life.
I'm about to show you. Pales in comparison. Boys Town in Los Angeles pales in comparison to the gayness I'm about to show you. Let's get into it.
Givazoa says, that's terrible. Where? Oh, one of those gay beaches. There's so many. Which one?
So, I have seen exactly one episode of He-Man, and it is the gayest cartoon episode I've ever seen in my life. Are all He-Man episodes this gay? I'd like to point out the Knights Templar cross on He-Man's chest, which is very interesting. See here. So that's a very interesting design for our character.
Spurious symbology is evidence on the bingo card.
This, of course, is the Knights Templar cross. And you can see it on He-Man's chest there. So
it's he/him, man.
Yeah, nothing gay here. I didn't pay attention to He-Man that much when I was a kid in the 80s. He-Man.
Did you watch She-Ra?
Was huge, but like, the boys watched He-Man and I was watching Smurfs and, Strawberry Shortcake and that kind of a thing. I really didn't care about He-Man, but something.
Fenekagami says, I will not apologize for making fun of Democrats. I mean, Kamala has advisors who tried to tell her to stop using weird, and we're not going back. The Democrats have been so bad at this. You can absolutely make fun of the Democrats as long as you vote for Kamala. That's fine.
Thing I didn't know is He-Man's homoeroticism and implied homosexuality. Who knew? I didn't know. I'm going to have to watch more of these episodes here on YouTube.
She's got such a weird, like... She seems to do the transvestigation stuff, and she's got a weird homophobia thing going on, but she also seems to have a weird attraction to it, doesn't she? That keeps bringing her back to this. Like, I don't know how to explain this in any other way other than she seems fascinated. She seems disgusted and fascinated, and it's kind of interesting.
Resulted in the character and show drawing a gay audience when the cartoon first aired, with the character being now viewed as a gay icon.
I mean, she could be a chaser, Mr. Duck Sauce. It's possible. H-Bird says, Smurf Society only has one woman who was genetically created by Gargamel to spread discord. Discord which didn't happen, and she thinks He-Man is gay.
I literally knew none of this. So, let's get into the episode that I want to talk about. Today we're going to talk about, I can't say it without laughing, Fisto's Forest. He-Man, at some point, introduced a character named Fisto.
Oh, our timing is impeccable! Yes!
Introduced a character named Fisto.
Too perfect. Too perfect. Fenekagami says, can I just say, I'm very offended that Wretched Recess has stolen the "are they gay" bit and is so unentertaining about it.
Everybody just soak this in for a second.
Will do.
Fisto wears a steel torture device fist on his, arm there, making a giant steel fist. Check out his little shorts there. I can't. Now, I turned...
She brought up the definition! Come! I don't think you needed to bring up the definition of fisting for this!
...into the Urban Dictionary for pretty much everything. When I hear a word that I don't know, I just, go to Urban Dictionary immediately and type it in. So...
I'll be honest, I think fisting is self-explanatory. Do you need fisting explained? I think it's in the name. Venusian Punk, thanks for following. I don't know why you decided to follow in this moment, but I appreciate you.
I thought it was, but I was just double checking. Urban Dictionary is good for that too. You know what I mean? Just to double check. You're like, I think I know what this means. Fisting is the act or art of putting a fist in the ass. Or
it really is an art form, too. Good for them for appreciating it for what it is.
Vagina.
Like any martial art, it truly is the poetry of the body.
A very popular practice among more...
Oh, I'm glad you got a Twitch account, Venusian Punk.
...evolved, in parentheses, kinky gays, and requires great care...
Yeah, they did spell vagina wrong for some reason there.
...and huge amounts of lubrication.
Vagina.
So fisting is literally putting your fist or somebody putting their fist up your butt. Okay? I don't know why anybody would allow...
Or other orifice. It said vagina. Vagina's in there.
Thing.
To hold the official gay man anthem. I can't play this because this is probably going to be the Hey Yeah song and I get copyrighted. Yeah, I get they take my money if I play that and I can't. Sorry.
In either one of these spots, I would absolutely have a problem.
It is a fucking bop though.
With it, but apparently this is something that people do. So far we've learned that He-Man is a gay icon. There's a character named Fisto who has a giant steel, iron, whatever this thing is, a giant fist, right? And this whole thing is already very gay, but we are just getting started. So after this video is done, I'm going to need you guys to check out this this episode of He-Man. It's called Fisto's Forest. I can't even say it without laughing, right? And somebody online was like, "Oh, that would be a great porno name." No, honey. That would make a great gay club name. Fisto's Forest. Can't you just see it like decorated like a forest? Like this guy Fisto, doesn't he look like he would be in the dungeon of a gay club, like in the late 70s, early 80s? Not that I've ever been to a gay club or in the dungeon of one, but if that exists,
She's seen cruising.
This is who's
Overthought with 100-bit says, I don't know, maybe it's me, Ace, but how can people be this fixated on sex all the time? You just have no idea. It's truly a curse.
Down there. I'm convinced of it. Okay, so I am going to walk you through this episode of Fisto's Forest of He-Man.
Oh, good. She took time-stamped notes. That's good and a normal thing to do.
Took notes. So I watched this so you don't have to, but I do recommend it. So let's get into it. First of all, did you know He-Man's actual name is Adam?
Prince Adam.
I was
of Eternia.
Yesterday years old when I learned that for the first time. I never knew his name was Adam. So Adam, you know, it's seeming a little biblical there, as a lot of this stuff always ties in biblical stuff. But yes, he is He-Man is Adam, master of the universe person. And by the way, when he holds up his sword, wink, wink, his sword, he is the most powerful man in the universe. So, I mean, that's like gay already, right?
I had never considered that swords were always symbolic of penises. How could I have not seen that? It was so obvious all along.
So what I'm going to do...
I love the Three Musketeers now. Forrest Espion says gay!
...is walk you through the best gay parts of this cartoon. And as you can see, I've got a lot of notes here. It is absolutely...
He's horny for He-Man? Who isn't?
Absolutely
He's He-Man.
Epic. This episode is 21 minutes and 27 seconds. The first really gay thing that happens, and Fisto is like a bad guy, right? He's a bad guy. At 1 minute and 46 seconds, he holds up his giant metal steel fist, whatever this thing is, and
a fist. Is there a question? His name is Fisto. I think you can assume it's a fist. That's fine.
He's like, "So you wanna play, do ya?" Ha 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 ha. And he does this like evil laugh.
Yeah, that's like a trope line for a fight. Oh, so you want to play? It's kind of like supposed to be funny because it's downplaying the mortal nature of a fight. Playful. Almost swashbucklery.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I was telling you the right thing. It's a large metal fist. Nothing gay about that. This here says...
I mean, not, like, broadly. Like, I don't look at brass knuckles and go, gay. Like, that's not how this works.
Fisto is a large and muscular warrior with...
Like, does she look at Hulk hands and go, like, that's a sex toy?
Reddish brown hair and a beard. I'm sorry. Distinguishable mainly by his right hand, which is a large metal fist. Oh my god. And it does look like a torture device. Shout out to Channeling Dan. He is my friend, my online friend who told me about this episode, and we watched it together, and I haven't been the same since. And actually, it's this episode started off where like he was good.
Dinosaurs, thank you for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and kicking off a hype train. I appreciate it. It is September, and if you want to help the hype train, you can either gift subs, bits, or if you want to get a sub for yourself, new subs are 30% off during September. I'll shut up now about promotion.
And then he explains his evil background to this young little handsome young man here on the...
Let's not. Can we not? Wretched, why you gotta make it this every time? Why is this your obsession? I'm not I'm not Sigmund Freud or anything, luckily, so I'm not going to give you cocaine. But I am concerned. I am deeply concerned. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub.
Left and watch this.
Yep, he picked up a child. That's like a thing. Nothing is happening to this child other than being picked up. Stop it. Get help. Caradona, thanks for gifting 2 tier 1 subs. 52% to level 4.
Oh, look at Fisto picking
Oh, she is a goddamn creep.
up this young man and carrying him. This is looking a lot like the gay district I visited years ago.
This is a child, lady. Like, she goes around looking for, like, pedophile symbols everywhere. The pedophile symbol is coming from inside the brain, and it's yours. What are you doing? Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub.
This is the kind of stuff that was happening right there. Pardon, and now he's rubbing his leg and foot with his metal fist. I'm not making this up. This is at 2 minutes and 3 seconds. We have a foot massage going on right now. He then begins to stroke this young man's leg up and down.
I'm assuming he was injured. It appears that he's injured and that Fisto is doing something.
Look at his face. He keeps rubbing, by the way. This keeps going on.
Forrest Espion, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 4. Thank you very much.
This gentleman here has some serious V-shaped clavicles. And,
oh, she is going to transvestigate. Transvestigation on the bingo card, as well as the gay agenda, of course.
We know from transvestigating, my original channel got pulled down if you're just coming across this, so I need to be very careful what I say. But V-shaped clavicles are a feminine trait. As you can see here, these are V-shaped. This is 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Just wanted to show you this not gay at all.
What are we watching right now? This is a channel called Wretched Resets. Here's a link to the video for no particular reason if you'd like it. H-Bird says, why is she going on and on about Fisto when everyone knows that Orko is Eternia's freakiest lover?
All pose. So this happens, and immediately after... Okay, I'm literally not making any of this up. Right after Fisto did that pose, he has this like spider as a sidekick, and the spider is spitting something out. However,
that would be web. The spider, that would be web.
This guy gets jizzed. Right? I mean, what else could this be? It is sticky white goo, and he can't escape from it.
How does she feel about Spider-Man?
Just soak that in for a minute. We're at 5 minutes and 14 seconds. I need you guys to watch this because, like, I can't play it because of copyright reasons, but he starts rocking back and forth in the jizz and he can't get out.
This lady's got problems. Fenekagami says, who wants to tell her that all the best Disney movies are fun because they're not straight? And part of the reason the remakes suck is because they purged the Twitch blocks me from them. I mean, Beast is literally a furry and no one cares about his human form. Hades spends the whole movie acting like the sassy Twitch blocks me friend. You get it? Forrest Espion said, let's buy this merch and mail it to this lady. Oh god, what's this? He-Man something? Gay He-Man merch. I want He-Man merch. Osbia, thank you for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. 9% to level 7 on the hype train. Wow. MH Darkbeast says, she's obsessed with the Fisto episodes when this episode is far more gay. And there's a link to it. He-Man fights a gay bunny man. What? Is this like a fan project someone did? 1,000 gay nerds debating on 1,000 Twitter threads could come up with any number of candidates for the gayest episode of He-Man and Masters of the Universe, but the one we're talking about is the talking Simpsons co-host Henry Gilbert is the one where our hero travels through a swirling rainbow hole to an alternate dimension ruled by gay-seeming bunny men who load a phallic rocket full of his precious life-giving fluid. And no, we're not making any of that up. I want to watch this episode badly. Harold Ebbleman, thanks for 37 months. No regrets. I'm glad.
So then at 6 minutes and 10 seconds...
I need to watch that. Unfortunately, I actually don't own He-Man on DVD. One of the ones I don't. Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card. God damn it. Bittergrin, thanks for 100 bits. 21% to level 7. This is the best hype train we've had in a while. Thank you, everyone. You're all being so generous. And I appreciate it. I really do. I couldn't do this show without you guys. So thank you.
This is when Fisto is a bad guy. He has flashback to when he's a bad guy. And,
Patreon stream He-Man? I don't know if I could get away with that, so probably not. If I could, I would. Sinister Owlet, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
Like He-Man and...
We do have popular media is evil, absolutely. Wow. 75% to level 7. Everyone, thank you. Thank you so much.
The friends are on the way to, like, Fisto's...
Yes, we'll go over the card after this. We probably won't even make it all the way through this video.
...forest, and he says... I'll give them a sticky welcome. I'll give a sticky welcome. And then here's this spider, his friend, who's holding this person hostage. And Fisto wasn't playing. He delivers. He gives them a sticky welcome. This is...
It's a spider web!
Big old...
I get it. I'm all for having fun and looking for queer subtext. That's a fun thing to do. Not when you're doing it with derision, though. I'm not comfortable with that.
Puddle of stickiness.
Also, this is a stretch.
Literally, he laughs like this after all of that cum puddle is, like, spilling out.
I don't like the way she says cum puddle.
Man's friends, I think, and like I said, I've only seen this episode, and they're running into the forest, Fisto's forest, and they realize they've been duped. They're literally stuck in a puddle of jizz, and they cannot get out.
Do you know what literally means?
So now we come back to the cum puddle, and He-Man, the superhero, saves the day by lifting these ladies out of the sticky... gooey jizz puddle on the ground. That was like...
Jesus Christ, she never stops.
And now we have men tied up in dungeons. Like, what else could there possibly be?
Oh shit, Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. This is just a gift sub crazy day. Over level 7.
Yeah. Fisto tells us only fools want happiness, and he prefers power.
Yeah, he's evil.
The power of the mighty fist. And by the way, I'm not that familiar with He-Man. Does he always talk like a simpleton? He speaks very slow and like, I know it's for kids, but kids can understand a little bit more than like, he just speaks like really slow and simple, like no use of vocabulary words. It's just like he's, yeah, like I said, like a simpleton. Now these two are trapped in a cave. I need you guys to watch until the very end.
PK the Lost, Porque no los dos.
You are not...
And also, yes, Harold Ebbleman, you're welcome.
...going to believe how this cartoon ends, like with what they say. So I'll tell you about it. I'm going to be quick here with the last couple minutes. So in Fisto's forest, they identify this hole as Fisto's headquarters. Wonder what happens there.
It's just constant. It's all she knows.
Here's a joke for you.
Oh my god, she bought a Fisto action figure!
The whole theme. Google, and I had to search for a Fisto action figure. I wanted a vintage Fisto action figure. Like, it's funny. This package says, handle with care. You know, that just kind of fits the whole theme. Hand, fist, handle with care. So,
ooh, that's a stretch even by conspiracy theory standards.
I haven't opened it yet. We're going to open it together and see what we have here. All right, I'm going to dump out the contents of this package. Oh, it looks like the seller sent me some goodies in there, some other stuff too. I got some stickers. I love this little package. I got a little balloon dog sticker and a Dr. Seuss. All right, guys, moment of truth. I'm a little afraid. Here's a joke for you. This is way bigger than I expected. I thought it was going to be a little thing. Oh my gosh, that's what she said. This is so wrong. You know what? I don't even feel comfortable picking this thing up with my bare hands. People are weird. I don't know where this
People are weird. You are the people.
Has been. I don't know where this fits.
I promise no one weirder than you has ever possessed this toy.
Has been.
It's just impossible.
But this is hilarious. I'm legit gonna go grab a glove. I'll be right back.
What? It's fine. No one fucked this toy.
All right, now I'm wearing a glove. I feel a little better about picking this up.
Now I feel bad that she owns this instead of a He-Man fan that might actually enjoy it. Like she's gonna throw this in the trash?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. This is way bigger, like a way bigger action figure than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know where this is going, but I kind of want to put it on my desk at work. But I don't think that would go over very well.
Why?
I'm trying
People would just be like, oh, that's a He-Man, or like, what's that action figure of?
Raise the fist in the air, but it snaps right back down. I don't know why.
Karate chop action.
But
the innuendo is killing you. Yeah.
Let's stand him up so you guys can see here. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's epic. I feel like I need to disinfect this thing or just like dump it in a bucket with some soapy water. Like I said, I don't know what people did with this thing, but I'm not trusting the fist here. Well, anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I think I'm going to start a Wretched Recess toy shelf. So, like, I'm going to cover more cartoons, and any cartoon I cover, I will have a little toy from it. Either I already have it or I'll buy something because that'll be fun. But yeah, here's Fisto in all of his glory, and thank you guys for watching.
She's truly equal amounts fascinating and horrifying to me. Like, her beliefs are disgusting and scary, but at the same time, she says the most absurd things. Forrest Espion with 100 bits says, Hannah, interview this lady. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Thank you so much, everyone, for that incredible hype train. That's the highest we've gotten in a long time. It means a lot to me. Let's see. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal for the Templar thing. I'll put that under, like, Freemasons and Cabal, because usually they're affiliated in conspiracy minds. Popular media was evil. Satanic. Transphobia, transvestigation. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Doesn't understand how cameras work for Chris and the moon camera stuff. Spurious symbology is evidence. Flat Earth. Anything else? One says 76. Oh yeah, duh. Gay agenda was the main one from the last video, and I forgot it. Good job, me. Yeah, Sky is fake for Chris. True. All right. I think that's it. Did we get 80? We did. We did. Chris. Okay, let's see what's next. So the same people that did the channeling of, oh god, was it Neanderthals? They're gonna do a channeling of Atlanteans. So Atlantis on the bingo card. Andronicus Khan says, as a He-Man related aside, years and years ago, I was helping a friend move his parents out. We found some of his He-Man action figures in the basement. The skunk ore figure had been sitting out in the open on a shelf for 20 years and still somehow had the smell. All I'm saying is that if I ever got cancer, I'm blaming it on that figure. That's probably fair.
Howdy, beautiful people, and howdy, fellow Texan Courtney Dillon, whose information will be in the description box and on the screen. So we've got also she's part of the team on Atlantis Scalar too. I have to say Atlantis Scalar because when I say Atlantis Scalar, it goes ER then, so whatever. And hi, Eric, my son on the other side of the veil.
He's being funny today. He's like he's flickered my lights earlier, but he says hi, Mom.
Hey,
so
that's just loose wiring. Call an electrician.
Hey, man. Hi. All right, and we are going to talk about Atlantis, and I've told y'all, ad nauseum, that I've always been interested in that name, Atlantis. I didn't know anything about it, never did any research, but my first company was named Atlantis, decades ago, and then one of our...
you don't know what she's going through, Overthought. I don't think she's... Let me put it this way. I don't discuss the thing with her son because I don't get the feeling that she's using that cynically. I think that this is a coping mechanism for her. Like, I don't think she's cynically doing it like she knows it's not real, but whatever. I think she genuinely believes it, so I'm not touching that one. That's too personal. I'll joke all I, can about the Atlantis stuff or the Neanderthal stuff. The kid stuff is too personal. Like, I don't know. MH Darkbee says, don't tell the last lady about this person. Oh no. This. Oh, She-Ra. Drag queen or something.
And you know where we're at. We're at the Con TV block party here at Stanley's, Los Angeles.
It's a good outfit.
Our boat was named Atlantis and then Atlantis Scalar. So I found out I was one of the healers there. Anyway.
I feel like naming your boat Atlantis is asking for trouble. It'd be like calling it the Titanic 2 or the Poseidon. It's just not worth it.
Let's see. We got questions.
I won't let death get me ironically. That's my only wish. I can die violently. I can die suddenly. But I don't want to be an ironic death. Don't need that headline.
From the community.
Hi.
And
Eric's here, and he's brought in, looks like a
Atlantean,
yeah, representative. So
question, what does an Atlantean look like?
Okay.
They can both answer our questions today.
All right. During the last days of Atlantis, were there Earth archangels incarnated, such as Archangel Juphiel, and was Metatron her etheric twin flame? If so, did their etheric sexual connection pull Metatron to be incarnated on Earth for one lifetime? Is that true?
Can we break this question up into parts? I didn't even catch most of that. Hold on, we gotta go back. We're talking about the Archon and sexual energy.
It's from the community.
Hi.
And
Eric's here, and he's brought in, looks like a
Atlantean,
yeah, representative. So they
okay.
can both answer our questions today.
All right. During the last days of Atlantis, were there Earth archangels incarnated, such as Archangel Juphiel, and was Metatron her etheric twin flame? If so, did their etheric sexual connection pull Metatron to be incarnated on Earth for one lifetime? Is that true?
Is that true at the end of that nonsense? They're talking about Metatron, which is a Gnostic thing?
This is what
So
when I asked Metatron.
What would an ironic death for Hannah look like? Falling off the edge of a flat Earth, a mutant cheese eating me. Someone else said getting crushed by a bunch of DVDs. Yeah.
The first part of the question, sorry, I was trying to decode all of that. But the first part of the question, that there were
Hannah mentions cheese on the bingo card.
Higher vibration, what he describes as higher vibrational beings and what we would consider angels on Earth at that time.
Okay.
There are still some angels on Earth, but there are it's much fewer numbers. But yes, there were. The part about the
What's my favorite cheese? I like Parmesan, like real Parmesan Reggiano. I like sharp cheddars. I like white cheddars. I like Asiago. I like Havarti. Goat Havarti in particular is very good.
The sexual union and all of that. I don't get anything about that.
Okay. I just need to cover that. Okay, my understanding is that there are 10 Earth archangels incarnated in connection with their twin flame archangels.
Like right now or in Atlantis time? I'm confused about the question. Okay, sorry.
I like that she's like, I don't know, I'm just reading the questions. Neither of them, they think they're talking to Atlantean ghosts, and they couldn't seem less interested.
Next one. Are there any survivors of Atlantis that are now living here on Earth, or maybe inside the Earth? Because
Eric is laughing at that question, not because it's a bad question. It's a fine question.
No.
But he says you. He points at the person you.
Does this count as belief sci-fi tech? Not yet. If they mention specific sci-fi technology from Atlantis, then yes.
There are a lot of people right now, he's saying, who are back and who are interested in healing work. He's giving me chills because this is some of you who are really, and he's saying there's a lot of people pussyfooting around, is his word, about stepping into their purpose, their divine purpose and role.
It's scary.
But actually it is scary, and I get it. I was scared for many years, and but what he wants people to do is, if you feel drawn to being a healer or a healer modality, or you just feel like you're here to uplift in some way, then you likely have had roots in Atlantis. And
so if you want to help people and have an uplifting energy, you have some sort of legacy in Atlantis. This is basically Starseed stuff with extra steps. This is like a reskinned Starseed. The way for people to feel special, like they have some sort of chosen one quality, like a movie.
You can connect with your roots in Atlantis and get to know what type of healer you were, or connect with that energy. Even if that doesn't even make sense to you, you can just ask to connect with that energy and bring it forth in this lifetime, because a lot of people who are listening to this call have had lifetimes in Atlantis, including you, including me, including Eric.
That's very convenient. How many people were in Atlantis? And both of you had former incarnations there? That seems statistically unlikely that all three of you, her, and your former son, all had former lifetimes in this one specific place? That seems sus. That seems like something you'd make up.
Yeah. It's interesting. So, what
are the degrees behind her for? She was a medical doctor of some kind. She mentions later in the video, because I skimmed through this, or maybe it was another video I watched, that they are for medicine of some kind.
Survivors that are in Agartha or whatever, or Gartha, I can't remember. Well, actually, never mind, because we're going to have a whole session about that Hollow Earth whole thing. That a lot of them evaded the flood, the deluge by going.
And they said that I don't know what this means, but when you do that session, if I end up doing it or someone else does it, doesn't matter. They can bring forward a group from the Hollow Earth that will speak about.
Okay, so they are confirming Hollow Earth. Controversial.
specifics
Cool.
about
I don't know H. Baird. I just know she said something about medicine.
the connection with Shasta and things like
The soda?
Oh yeah, here it's coming here. All right. So from the geography of Atlantis, I understand from the book Atlantis Rising that
Venusian Punk says, Hannah, after I get my MD, if I go crazy like she has, will you watch my fucked up content? 100%. The circle of life. Without it, how would I thrive?
a lot of them are Americans, but also some, since it spilled over, I guess, part of the continent had a bridge to Spain, especially the Basque region. So that's interesting since my family's from Spain. Anyway, that's not a question. Where is Atlantis currently located, and will it ever come to surface?
what he wants people to do right now is, one, he's saying that the United States, in many ways, that this battle for good and evil is playing out in the United States is actually a version or a replication of what has happened in the past in Atlantis. And so
wait, so like there was an Atlantean Trump? Everyone is saying that the waters are rising and that Atlantis will be under the sea. I do not believe them. I have the best Atlantean scientists telling me if we just inject ourselves with coral, everyone will be fine. We'll develop gills, live at the bottom of the sea. It'll be beautiful. It'll be absolutely beautiful.
So we're at different choice points, which are exactly mimicking the past. That doesn't answer the question, he says, but that's part of it.
No, that's what Atlantis Rising is about. It's
okay. Yeah, I haven't read it yet. I know you told me, but it has been
so cool.
As soon as I actually have it ordered and it's sitting on my shelf, but once I get unpacked, I'll get to read it. But anyway, the point is that's one thing. But he says the other thing is to not think of Atlantis as a physical place or physical location right now, but you can begin to think of it as energetic.
That's bullshit. What do you mean it's not a location? In myth, it is literally a location. You can't just be like, Atlantis is like a state of mind, man. Like, no. It's a fucking island that sank in a myth. You can't just be like, it's energy. Man, what does that mean? Your civilization is energy?
Okay.
And so because we are energetic conscious beings, that we are spirit incarnate, we can actually mentally or, connect with the energies of Atlantis. And that will really empower people in the coming days, because I think there's going to be more, chaos ahead as we are bringing the light is, rising on the planet, which is what is actually happening, even though it kind of looks bleak at the moment.
Yeah, it'll get better. Are there hidden artifacts that they left behind inside the Sphinx?
In the Sphinx specifically? That's a hell of a shot to call. I think Atlanteans hid things in Aztec pyramids. No, gotcha. It was in the Sphinx all along.
Yes, is the answer to that question.
What kind of artifacts?
There's crystals,
of course,
and and as we were talking earlier about possibly doing a taping on the skulls, but it does look like there's some of the skulls there, and each
of the crystal skulls that turned out to be hoaxes.
Of the skulls, it looks like contains separate bodies of information. Almost they're like encoded somehow.
Yeah.
With
They're like
computers, exactly. They're like downloaded with information. They're conscious, they're alive, and they can, for those who know how to connect and how to read them, they can give information that would, kind of blow us away, I guess.
Oh my God,
so
cool.
So it looks like we can also channel one of the skulls.
Okay, yeah.
You want to put that on your notes?
Yeah, let's channel a skull. Why not?
Okay.
Because that's an idea that's coming through.
All right.
That's an idea that's coming through is the funniest way to say, here's the thing I just made up. You want to channel a skull? We do. We need to call Dan Aykroyd. He knows all about the skulls.
Okay. All right. Are the Atlantis people now living inside or under Mount Shasta?
The answer is yes.
Where's Mount Shasta?
Are descendants from
Okay.
Atlantis living under Mount Shasta.
Someone look up where that is.
But it's not like something that we could go and excavate and go under Mount Shasta and see them. We can.
That's convenient. They're there, but we literally can't test that. It's unfalsifiable.
Connect with them.
It's in Northern California? Yeah, sure. That makes sense. They're under solid ground in California. That tracks.
Through our vibration. Meaning, if we are of a higher frequency,
vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card.
Vibration doesn't mean we're bypassing everything, but we're kind of living in a higher way, higher frequency, higher vibration. We will begin to have the ability to connect on multidimensional levels and to connect with the beings under Mount Shasta, because there's a lot of them.
Wow, how far under are we talking? Miles?
It looks like pretty deep within the earth.
Can't even come up with a number. Pretty deep. Pretty deep. Pretty deep in there.
There's a whole community of beings who support the ascension. There's networks. So there's actually under Shasta, but there's other places in the world. They're taking me to, excuse me,
the seer Edgar Cansey predicted Atlantean stuff under the paw of the Sphinx. I see. So it's based on that. Hey, Clyde, how's it going?
Oh, sorry. Australia.
Okay.
In Australia, there's another Uluru.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. There's beings under the earth. So there's a whole group or network of.
Okay, I'm done with them for now. I have to use the bathroom, so I'll be back in just a sec. Be right back. Let's see what we're gonna do next. We have a ton to look at.
They've been hiding this from you. During the 1900s, bells around the world were all collected and destroyed. Governments claimed it was due to the metal shortage during the world wars. However, it is believed that there is a much more sinister motive.
And that's why there are no bells to this day, and we banned bells everywhere.
Bells are powerful tools. They are not just signals that another hour has passed. These bells clear negative energy, raise vibrations, and connect us with higher realms. Fully aware of this, they were
dimensions beyond our own.
Destroyed to suppress human awakening and maintain control over our collective consciousness.
They did it. They showed a picture of someone with a shattered head. And then it's literally just footage of bells ringing. For like 2 minutes. I don't feel my energy being cleared. I think I just feel annoyed at the noise. Maybe I'm faulty, I don't know. Let's take a look at the people who think they're gonna live forever. We've looked at them before. Here's another quick video they did at a conference.
New language being spoken today. There's a new language, and it doesn't have anything to do with the life and death cycle. It has everything to do with a freedom from all of it, freedom from death. That we live only a few years here, that's ridiculous.
It's true, Ace Space Rooster. You're the only one.
It's ridiculous. 80 years, 90 years, majority of people die in their 80s and 90s, and some little...
I don't think the majority. I don't know what the most common age of death is. Feels like it's probably younger than that, though. 80s and 90s? I feel like people are probably dropping more often in, like, their 60s, late 60s, at least in the States. There's a lot of congestive heart failure.
100 and a little over, but look, it's this, I've entered into where I'm not the age that those years say.
Wild seeing self-delusion on this level, isn't it?
Don't go with
this
it.
is like Alex Chu, but with a budget. I haven't looked into Alex Chu in a while. Wonder how he's doing.
No. I used to worry about it all the time, about being a female, and I was speaking physical immortality. And I was always concerned about, oh, what am I going to be like when I get 50 or when I'm 70? What am I going to look like? And then into the 80s, and that's where I really felt a lot. Because that's like really, you have a few years. 86, you got, you know.
One of these two will die and the other will be stuck trying to deal. They used to be a trio. They used to be a trio that worked together on this. Hint, hint.
A few.
So I think that whichever one lives the longest will figure out a way to keep the grift going just fine. They already adjusted before.
Few good years. Any age only has a few good years unless there's a change. But there really there really is a lot to be experienced when, like, I've been speaking physical immortality. I was awakened to it 60 years ago, and I'm stronger with it today, and it's taken on a different form, and it's better than ever for me. But yeah, but I'm not stuck with time. I have opened the door for me to have a future. Open the door for you to have a future and feel it in your gut. Feel it.
Is there possibly something new for humankind that we've never seen before? Is there possibly a place for us to go in the building of each other that we can actually accomplish something that's never been accomplished before? And look, it's a wonderful adventure. I always say, look, I would rather be on this adventure and move for a living and fail than to never go for it at all.
Feels a little defensive.
Suppression around living. There's a lot of suppression around being alive. And like Bernie pointed out too, we create coping mechanisms around death. We try to make it okay. And so...
Yeah. Can you imagine what a dysfunctional coping mechanism around death would look like? Gestures broadly at what we're seeing.
In fact, many people try to make it beautiful. Like that's the next step, that's the next transition. And whether there's a transition or not, I'm not going to argue that point. I'm just going to say, why not transition on your 2 feet? and not die? Why not change? Why not have a metamorphosis of your own body, like a caterpillar has out of its cocoon and comes forth new life and the beauty of that new life? Why not have that? Personally, I think that's far superior than becoming some decrepit state, completely burn out and wearing your body out and fundamentally suffering through all kinds of diseases and illnesses, and then,
feels like they're trying to filibuster death.
Passing away. I feel by a metamorphosis that you're constantly getting better. I think as far as
like if they just say enough, if they just keep talking and acting like they're young, like it'll stop the process of aging.
Superior than the dying. On simple terms. No matter what we've been taught, no matter what we've been programmed, and we've all been programmed on one level or not or another, until you break that program, that death is inevitable, and that's the way it has to be. And so we try to make something good about it. And really, I personally see nothing good about it. I don't see anything good about people getting, seeing people, especially people that you care, but any human being suffer. But what we're talking about here can and is ending that suffering. We can live now in a world, instead of talking about a beautiful kingdom sometime down the line, a beautiful place that we're all going to be, we can have that right now, and that's what's exciting. And build on that and make that grow.
That was a year ago. Wonder how they're doing. New video from the anti-aging bed scammers. They're trying to do med bed scams at people.
Albert Einstein.
This is only about a minute and a half long. I did not speed this up. They did. This is their actual advertisement.
Albert Einstein once stated, "Future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies."
Let me make the next minutes of your life amazing and understand a futuristic health technology I developed called the holographic scan Tesla MedBed as a category. It uses our Backstar bioscanner to look at and scan 1,300 different cells and organs. Along with our Tesla plasma technology, includes the photonic light frequency, the sound.
Word salad on the bingo card. Believe sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card.
Frequency. And the
cat makes a guest appearance on the bingo card.
Direct current. We put the current inside the MedBed system here, and we can actually...
Jason Proxy. Let me take a look at your card for the bingo. Hannah mentions cheese, doesn't understand how cameras work, free space, believe sci-fi tech exists, and the gay agenda. Jason Proxy, you win. Congratulations. Let me write down your name real quick. Good job, Oliver. You did it. Jason Proxy. Woohoo! So that's our official bingo winner of the day. We'll continue to play for fun.
Measure the frequency. And
Oliver says you're very welcome.
Right now it's running at 572 hertz. And if you check it out here, we're running at 572 hertz. This is not just a hyperbaric chamber. It's grounded. It has far infrared. If you hear closely here, you'll hear the vibroacoustic. Look at the acoustic.
The vibroacoustics. That's some primo tier word salad right there. The vibroacoustics.
Vibration coming.
Wonder how we normally achieve acoustics.
From the pad. Oh, and you can do a scan before and after. You've got the oxygen, and it was through these gloves where those frequencies came from. So we're doing 9 technologies right here.
9!
We're a USA-made company with US...
9 whole technologies. It's over 9.
US patents in a US-made product. It goes into our MedBed sleep system and our wellness...
Damn, look at that trifold. It folds thrice.
MedBed, including the Tesla MedBed and Celestial MedBeds. We have revolutionized the world in health with over 70 health technologies. If you want to be a part of it, give us a call, 800-385-4243. Visit our website at antiagingbed.com or email us at info@antiagingbed.com to learn more, to schedule an appointment, and to take a look at these amazing technologies.
9 technologies in a med bed
that we have here.
That's beautiful. That's definitely not a scam. I think that state's attorney general should probably send a letter to them. You know, just whatever they can get. sent over. A cease and desist would probably be good.
Here it is if you want to go out and get it.
Of the earth and us to shape.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
In today's video, we are looking at not the shape of the earth or any argument surrounding that. What we are looking at is the fact that it is provable through evidence of old footage not meant for us to see from NASA, where it shows the thing called the blue marble. And the blue marble has been the cornerstone for the imagery and the size of the earth and where the boundaries lay for at least 50 or 60 years now.
It's literally just a cool image of the earth from far away. It's not being used for the standard of anything. What are you talking about?
This image that you have been looking at was and still is a fakery. The images that you see in computer generation images, everything that's supposedly coming through a satellite is put through this blue marble programming so that everything ends up matching this initial image that was provided by NASA. And what you will see from this footage is that that image was fake. And not only was it fake in the sense of the actual size of the earth, not what the earth looks like, but the size, but that the earth is actually way, way bigger than you think it is. Just like the old world maps showing continents and places beyond the ice wall. I want you to look at this imagery and take a look for yourself and make your own decision.
Wait, it's all Earth? Yeah. You're an astronaut, Gary. How do you not know this? You've been training in school for this for 20 years, you
What?
Rather than show too much revealing detail of a false scene that was yet unproven. And finally, the element that seals their fate. Of all the footage of Apollo 11 requested from NASA.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on. This audio mixing is duty. Did he?
I personally could never look at this kind of information and fully trust the mainstream history ever again. It honestly is fairy tale stuff for adults at this point. Now, I found some really cool pictures that I've been waiting to share with you all from the 1800s, and they're
I'm just gonna already say doesn't understand architecture on the bingo card. I find it hilarious that he appears to be censoring the faces of the children in this image, because these children are probably dead of old age. And even if they were alive, they would be unrecognizable. But still, that's good, I guess.
very strange. They're so out of
Yeah, Netflix will get mad for a trailer, unfortunately, MH Dark Beast.
place and just totally looks like our new civilization is just completely lost in the photos. This one is from Boston on 88 Commonwealth Avenue. At some point in between 1890 and 1899, you have dirt roads. You have these people occupying these buildings that they have zero clue where it came from. And here
Nope, they know where the buildings came from. What are you talking about?
we have a few photos of Boston in 1890. And where is everybody? Looking and sounding a little more strange now? We have all of these incredible buildings and no people.
Doesn't understand how cameras work and doesn't understand how architecture works on the bingo card.
Why would you need all of these buildings for such a small population? You wouldn't. The previous civilization was here before. They constructed all of these buildings, and they needed every single one of them. Here in Boston from the sky. It's obviously a drawing and not real from 1899. But look how the city is clearly laid out. It even has land that is perfectly formed, right on the water. Here we have the Boston Public Library with dirt roads. And of course,
Yes, like dirt roads were the standard. What are you talking about? That's not a mystery. That's not a conspiracy that roads used to be dirt roads. and then eventually they invented asphalt. What are you doing?
It's still here today, looking better than ever. Exactly like our buildings that we build today. Oh, no, not like our buildings today. In fact, nothing like them. And then I went on to the historic New England website, and they have a page called Old Boston, which is pretty telling in itself. And the description here says,
It's telling in the sense that it's about the Boston of old. It's not mystery, it's just history.
5 images showing the development of Beacon Hill from drawings by J.H. Smith, made on the spot in 1811 and 1812. The guy is depicting horses and wagons with nothing around, and a huge mound that looks to me like they've dug this massive structure out from underneath the dirt. And this is one of the strangest pictures for me. It's from 1840 in Boston, where the population was only 93,000 people. And right before this photo, in 1839, what do you know? Boston's lunatic asylum was established. Check out episode 13 if you're interested in that topic. Very interesting stuff. And people look so out of place, and they look like farmers. Nothing against farmers, but they're in a palace with dirt roads and horses. I'm not sure
in a palace. What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Just because there are farmers doesn't mean everyone here was farmers. Like, in Boston, a lot of people were merchants, I would imagine, or working for other people. Not everyone was a farmer. There were people there who designed buildings and built buildings. It was a whole city. The economy isn't just farmers by this point. Or slavers, or fishmongers. Yeah, tons of stuff.
I've seen many stranger depictions of the past than this one. If we zoom in on the massive building with incredible
Wait, no, this
columns,
was the this was like the late 1800s, so slavery would have been outlawed by this point.
That it is the Boston Insurance Office. Well, we also know that this is from State Street, Boston. So let's have some fun and go even deeper. We have the 4 columns, exactly like the depiction from 1840. But can anyone see what is missing from the 1872 photo? Only 32 years later? Something is missing. How about the entire bottom portion of this building? It's completely covered up. And the top of the building is also changed. So someone went in here and did something to these buildings and this area between 1840 and 1872. In
That is decades, so yeah, they probably changed stuff.
1862, we get the Boston Educational Commission to make sure everyone is being told what to think. And here we have the National Theater in Boston, where in 1852, the theater burned down, but they rebuilt it, thankfully. So that 11 years later, it could just be destroyed by another fire. And we all know about the fires.
Yeah, fires happened in theaters a lot because of the lights. Like, back in the day, stage lights, before electric lights, were flames. So if you had a stage full of fucking flames, that's gonna cause issues sometimes.
A great nod that this is an old world building. So we have this picture of State Street, and then we have an actual photo of the same street 60 years later in the year 1900. And everyone is still riding around on horses and wagons. This is another photo of State Street in Boston from 1850, where there aren't any people on the street. I think it's very important to share these photos so that everyone can see them. They're not easy to find anymore, which is interesting.
They're incredibly easy to find. All you would have to do is Google photos of Boston from the 1860s to the 1890s. I'm sure you would find plenty. Toreador says, so New England has a big glacial area and there were literally large mounds of sand and sand pits all over. Glacial filtering leaves large deposits of sand behind and deposits them in one spot when they melt. That's literally probably sand being harvested to be used in construction. No, you don't understand though. That wasn't his first thought when he saw it, so it can't be true.
In itself. And in my opinion, these fully prove that we are correct. These photos are displaying a civilization that was so technologically weak, where they were riding around next to massive palace buildings. Look.
Holy fuck, these aren't palaces. Why do you call them palaces? They're not. Yes, these buildings are of this period. It's like they have this weird dissonance where they cannot imagine things being done before the advent of the internal combustion engine. Like, we had other forms of engines at this point to do work, right? Steam engines were a thing for certain activities. People had tools to do this stuff.
Looking like, oh, I don't know, that they might be in the wrong timeline. And here is the same road with 0 people again from June of 1875. And it gets even weirder when we see
Oh my god, he's gonna point out the flag.
This photo from 1898, 23 years later, where they are digging up the dirt road with...
Yeah, it kind of seems like they're redoing the roads. Looks like these are bricks here. Seems like they're ripping it up to redo the road.
Their incredible technology of shovels and wheelbarrows. And what is really going on here? Are they tearing apart the previous civilization's road that was...
It's their road. It's not a previous it's just a road.
Under all this dirt, hiding? These are massive and no ordinary brick. Comment below what you think this is.
What do you mean they're not ordinary bricks? They're bricks. On what are you basing that these are not ordinary bricks? I'm looking at them. They're bricks. What are you talking about? You can make big bricks. You can make bricks however big you want. They're bricks. You make them. You can make them however big you want them to be.
I think this is a destruction process, but would love to hear your ideas. And here we have this U.S. Post Office building, which was the first post office building in the city of Boston to be owned by the United States federal government. They knocked this one down to build the John W. McCormick Post Office and Courthouse. And this is where I found that they are fully lying to us. Here we go. We are told that the John W. McCormick Post Office and Courthouse was constructed between 1931 and 1933. But I have found a massive flaw in their story. And the flaw is that this building was not always called the John W. McCormick Post Office and Courthouse. And they have changed the name of it so that we would not be able to find it in the archives.
I don't think that's the reason.
Out that this building was actually called the United Shoe Machinery Building. And I think we're becoming a serious issue for the mainstream history, because I found the United Shoe Machinery Building in a photo from 1930, and that building is done. We were told that they built it in 1931 to 19...
So did you just find a source that incorrectly labeled it and they're two separate buildings? Toriador says, that's literally one of my favorite roof styles. I do architecture stuff for work. And then there's a link to the kind of roof. Mansard roof. It is cool. French looking.
1933. And I didn't just find one photo. I found a lot of them. And this is incredible, because this proves that we just need to go find what the building's name was before they say that they founded it. And it will then appear in the photos that predate the mainstream timeline. These buildings are older than we are told. And I think we found something massive today. And not only did they change the name of the building, but they have also changed the name of the street, with it being located at 50 High Street. And now the building has that street address erased from the side. There's a lot more on the way. So if you like this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back very soon with much more.
He's always a stretch. Forsaken Menu, thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. Let's see what we're gonna cover next. Try this one about the millennial reign of Jesus.
Hi, this is TNG, and this is the first part of a new series called The Bullet Shot. Today, or in this...
You did, Daima Oni-chan, I'm sorry.
Part...
It was interesting. You'll have to watch the VOD.
We'll be looking at the millennial reign of Christ, and a particular piece of evidence, should we say, which we're going to look at a little bit later. First, you may have noticed that
his logo kind of looks like a weird cyber butthole.
This millennial reign of Christ, and in particular what's known as the Little Season as well.
I feel like I'm getting Goat Seed by Hal from 2001.
Well, after it has become a bit popular, kind of started to take over the theory from this old world and Tartarian.
No, this isn't Roger. H-Bird says, yay, the millennial reign will be awesome. It'll be sriracha and escape rooms as far as the eye can see.
Type material. So what I wanted to do, I'm not saying that either way, whether this is true or not, but what I am saying, or I'm going to do in this series, is show you some evidence used by the people pushing this that may not be quite as kosher. Excuse the pun.
Oh. That thinly veiled or overt. It's pretty on the nose, but he's trying to hide it. Thinly veiled. Toreador says, look at you, hacker, staring into the perfect god machine's butthole. But he's trying to be covert about it by disguising it. If it was overt, he'd have to literally say, like, I hate blah, 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 blah. He's trying to be clever about it. So I'm going to say veiled. It is thinly veiled, but it's an attempt at a veiling.
It could be. So first things first, I'll just explain the millennial reign of Christ in case nobody's ever heard of it, or you're not sure, or if you are a Christian and haven't bothered to read your Bible or something like that. Well, the concept of the millennial reign of Christ and the subsequent little season is primarily drawn from the book of Revelation in the New Testament, specifically in Revelation 20, 1-10.
Sorry, I'm trying to see if this is a real church or if it's AI generated. I'm getting AI generation vibes, but I'm not positive. But like the chandeliers all along and how long this is makes me think AI.
The millennial reign refers to a literal or symbolic 1,000-year period.
Oh yeah, this definitely is. Uses AI on the bingo card.
During which Christ reigns on earth. This period is described as a time of peace, righteousness, and the fulfillment of God's promises.
I feel like I'm listening to Phantom of the Opera.
In Revelation 21-3, it describes how Satan is bound for 1,000 years and cast into the abyss, preventing him from deceiving the nations during this time. This binding of Satan
kind of looks like the AI used Henry Cavill's face for Jesus.
Is a significant.
I'm the only one who's getting that vibe. Henry Cavill,
as it allows for an era of unprecedented peace and divine rule. During the millennium, Christ reigns with his saints, who are described as those who have part in the first resurrection. This includes martyrs who have not worshipped the beast or its image, and who have not received the mark of the beast. Revelation 20, 4-6.
Mark of the beast on the bingo card.
They reign with Christ for the entire 1,000 years. So while the New Testament gives limited details, the millennial reign is depicted as a time of restoration and fulfillment of God's kingdom on earth. Old Testament passages like Isaiah 2, 2-4 and Isaiah 11, 6-9, often interpreted as describing this period, speak of harmony among nations and creation, absence of war, and universal knowledge of God. And this leads into the first resurrection. This resurrection pertains to the righteous dead who are brought to life to reign with Christ. Those who partake in this resurrection are blessed and holy, and the second death, the eternal separation from God, has no power over them, which is in Revelation 26. Now, what some of these people are saying, or these influencers are saying, is that we are now in the little season. So the millennial reign of Christ is over. It finished. And the little season, well, I could say that this place is kind of crazy. And I could even imagine that this actually is a good answer for what the hell's going on. What's going on around here. So I'll give you a bit of an overview of the little season.
I understand that the world is complicated and difficult and confusing, but it's not great to just throw away any semblance of trying to understand it and just go, I don't know, Satan must be in charge. Not great, not true, also gonna give you a really, 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 really unreal worldview. Not good.
Season. So after the millennium, Satan is released from his prison.
Wait, is that Satan? Satan is like a goth, sexy bird furry?
For a little season, which is in Revelation 20.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
7. This release marks the end of the millennial reign and the final test for humanity. Satan goes out to deceive the nations once more, gathering them for a final battle against God's people, described as Gog and Magog. That's in Revelation 20:8-9. This rebellion represents humanity's...
Oh, all of a sudden it's just a hip-hop track? That makes sense. Good music choice. Daima Oni-chan says, my poor ear for accents. I know what he's saying, but I keep hearing the millennial run of Jesus Christ.
His last attempt to oppose God's rule. And obviously God swiftly defeats this rebellion. Fire comes down from heaven and devours the attacking forces. Satan is then cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet already are, to be tormented forever, in Revelation 20:10. This marks the...
Toreador says, ooh, of course the devil is a bird furry. Bird, 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 bird.
final and complete defeat of evil. Following the little season, the great white throne judgment occurs, which is in Revelation 20:11-15. All the dead are resurrected and they are judged according to their works. Those whose names are not found in the book of life are cast into the lake of fire, which is the second death. And whatever we all...
I can't with this music. It's just gonna make me dance. It's gonna make me want to dance. How about this video on dragons?
Are dragons real, or just figments of imagination created to enhance legendary tales? Or are they a truth now known by a different name? Evidence of their existence may lie beyond mythology, in a nation with a history as ancient as recorded time. In this video, I'm to discuss the existence of dragons with the goal to entice people to read the works within the Bible, so that they may follow more.
I'm upset because I like the aesthetic. I always enjoy a VHS-based aesthetic, and I like what he's got going on here. I just wish it wasn't in the service of nonsense.
More closely the Word of God. If you enjoyed the contents of this video, please remember to like, and if you would want to see more, subscribe. Throughout history, dragons have symbolized various concepts across cultures. In ancient Mesopotamia, around 2000 BC, the Babylonian sea goddess Tiamat, depicted as a dragon or serpent, represented chaos and untamed nature. Her defeat by the storm god Marduk in creation myths set a template for future dragon tales. Similarly, in Egyptian mythology, Apophis, a giant serpent embodying chaos, battles the sun god Ra, threatening cosmic order, a role akin to dragons in later myths. Greek mythology also features dragon-like beings, such as the multi-headed Hydra slain by Hercules and the Colchian dragon, guardian of the Golden Fleece. These creatures often symbolize guardianship and formidable challenges for heroes. In medieval Europe, dragons came to represent evil and chaos, depicted as fire-breathing, winged monsters.
I find it interesting because he's clearly capable of recognizing the thematic elements of these stories, which is more than most conspiracy theorists. Literally, they don't pay any attention to the intended themes of the stories at all, and basically just go to, oh, this story must have literally happened. So it is interesting to me that he is able to parse basic thematic elements of stories. Weird that he's still taking it that step further and saying, no, actually, dragons are real, though.
Tales like St.
That's rare for conspiracy theorists.
George and the Dragon, symbolizing the victory of good over evil. In the epic Beowulf, a dragon represents the ultimate challenge for the hero.
It's the creepy Robert Zemeckis version.
While in Norse mythology, dragons like Nidhogg and Fafnir embody destructive forces. In contrast, East Asian cultures view dragons as benevolent beings associated with water, rain, and agricultural fertility. Chinese dragons symbolize cosmic order and imperial power, with the emperor, known as the Son of Heaven, closely associated with the dragon, reinforcing his divine mandate to rule. Similarly, in Japan and Korea, dragons are revered as protectors of the nation, embodying spiritual guardianship tied to nature. The title Son of Heaven.
But he said he's not a conspiracy theorist. He said he's doing his best to get people to read the Bible more closely or whatever. He's just a shill. I guess we'll see.
Originating in the Zhou dynasty, signified the emperor's role as a divine intermediary between heaven and earth, maintaining cosmic order and harmony. The mandate of heaven granted rulers the right to govern based on virtue, with the mandate revocable if they failed to rule justly, as reflected by natural disasters and social unrest. As the Son of Heaven, the Chinese emperor bore both spiritual and temporal responsibilities, far exceeding those of a typical monarch. Central to his role was maintaining the cosmic balance between heaven and earth, ensuring the prosperity and well-being of his people through rituals, such as the annual sacrifice at the Temple of Heaven in Beijing, which sought harmony in the seasons and land fertility. Additionally, the emperor was expected to be a moral exemplar, reflecting Confucian virtues of leadership, thereby setting a standard for the entire empire. Historically, the title was used by nearly all Chinese emperors across different dynasties, playing a key role in justifying their rule. The Zhou dynasty formalized the concept to legitimize their overthrow of the Shang, claiming the latter had lost the mandate of heaven. The Qin and Han
You can tell because we beat them in combat.
dynasties further emphasized the title's significance,
The spiritual version of might makes right.
with the Han particularly reinforcing the emperor's divine mandate. The Ming and Qing dynasties upheld the title with reverence, with the Temple of Heaven becoming the focal point for annual imperial rituals.
Okay, this guy's boring me. Sorry. It is interesting from a historical perspective, I guess, if any of what he's saying is true. But I'm into the wacko stuff, so I need to find something else. You know who we haven't heard from in a while?
In this video, I want to show a silly dinosaur video from China. But first, I want to share this screenshot that I took from Reddit. Who knows how long ago. MIT study explains why laws are written in an incomprehensible style. The convoluted legalese used in legal documents helps lawyers convey a special sense of authority. The so-called magic spell hypothesis. The study found that even...
I'm getting on the dinosaur part.
A lot of it, but interesting stuff. And, yeah, it's part of the magic. Let's watch parts of the video. Really interesting stuff comes out of China. China is known to be fakers, and Chinese, not that I watch a lot of it, but I've seen some videos and cringe at how bad the CGI is. Apparently China outer space stuff is like the most ridiculous out of all of it, and that's kind of interesting that you would think if everybody could go to space, it would be the same kind of thing. But China space stuff is just on another level of bad quality.
I will be putting that on YouTube, Tea with Goblins. I had to cut off the stream on YouTube yesterday, so I gotta upload it the long way.
And what about this? Tell me.
I'm gonna say racist disbelief of historical achievements for China's space stuff. Like, you don't have to like China's government to recognize that, like, they've been to space. They have their own space station. They've sent a rover to Mars, I believe. Don't be a dick.
What do you think of this? 72 million years old. Amazing. They always have pinpoint accuracy.
Preserved dinosaur embryos
ever range
found and reported.
This person, in my opinion, is showing some duper's delight. A lot of smiling going on when talking about this subject.
In science.
Can't smile anymore. Apparently it means you're part of the conspiracy.
And because it is so well preserved, we can observe its.
And have you noticed how they talk about science? They bring up proven by science, and that's just like, boom, the gavel hits the table. This is solidified in truth. Or scientists say,
Hans, this is scientific communication. You listening to her is not the process of science. Everything that they're doing is being peer-reviewed. If it gets published in a journal and taken seriously, it's because it's been peer-reviewed. Them communicating that to you isn't the peer review.
They can use the word science, and that immediately makes people...
Doesn't understand the scientific method on the bingo card.
People assume this is truth that I'm hearing about.
Posture very clearly, which allows us to compare it with other dinosaurs as well as modern birds.
So I'm not saying that strange and unusual creatures didn't live in times past. I do believe that there were eras with giant creatures around, and the Bible talks about very interesting creatures like the Leviathan, I think is true, and I think unicorns used to exist. So I'm
ancient wisdom on the bingo card.
Not closed off to the idea of there existing strange and unusual creatures in times past. But dinosaurs are just an outright hoax. They take other bones of other animals and stitch them together. Like they'll take whale bones and then put them in weird orders and mix them with other bones, and then they make a plaster fake.
You know, I think marine biologists probably would notice that.
Skull. Usually the skulls are just fake. Like the T-Rex and megalodons and stuff. I mean, I guess I'm open to the idea of maybe possibly there were ginormous shark-like creatures in times past. I don't know exactly, but I do know that T-Rexes are fake. Brontosaurus, that is fake. I mean, how often have they come out with, wait, Brontosaurus was this other thing, it's not real, but then they try to say it was again? Who even knows? Who cares? It's just bread and circus. Well, this is the circus part, I guess, of science. And it's a distraction. And you can tell that it's heavily forced on children. All their fake stuff gets forced heavily on children because you just indoctrinate them early. So here in this China video, I'm going to play more of it. Well, one thing that stuck out is the 72 million years old. Radiocarbon dating is a hoax. Carbon dating...
It is not.
Is a hoax.
It is not.
For when they get on the million of years things, it can't even be carbon dating because the half-life of carbon-14 is so short compared to...
Correct. Carbon dating is one form of radiometric dating. There are other elements that are used for longer forms of radiometric dating. Carbon dating is a kind of radiometric dating, but not all radiometric dating is carbon-based. Glad I could clear that up.
Millions of years. They have to pretend that it's these other things. But who was there 72 million years ago to know how much of these radioactive materials they should have started with? How do we travel back in time 72 million years to know what the initial levels were of these things? Who has a dinosaur?
Hans, you can measure the current levels and determine the rate at which they're decaying because the rate is constant.
So we know how much of this radioactive material was present way back then, and you see it all falls apart. Nobody can travel back millions or billions of years to collect data on a starting point. When you build a model, you need very accurate information for the starting point of your model. Otherwise, when you're blowing...
Why is he talking like he knows anything about models? What is he talking about? He's not a scientist. H-Bird says, who was there 72 million years ago? Why, Keith Richards, of course.
Clean up these things.
Take that, Keith Richard. You thought you were safe from getting jabbed in my stream? You're old.
To proportions of millions of years, even a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of an error is gonna make your...
Toreador says, breaking out the classics today. I got a teapot in orbit to sell this guy. Yeah, I'm breaking out my old rhetoric. Gotta argue against creationist rhetoric. What is it, 2013 again?
Answer so wrong. When you have a model and you're making your model predict things millions of years in the future, any little mess up, any little...
Part of me is a little nostalgic for the time when it felt like creationists were like a big threat and like, we need to deal with this. There can't be anyone more foolish than this, surely. Oh, those were the days.
Deviation is going to throw off your answer so much because a percentage of millions is huge. But they always just state it like fact. This thing is 72 million years old. They don't say plus or minus this many, and there's a reason why they do that, because it's bullshit. If this was real, legitimate science, they would include their error. They would include the interval.
I imagine they do in the actual papers that they publish about this, but in science communication, you simplify it down for people.
We estimate it to be, we're 95% confident. This is how real statistics works. You're 95% confident that it's in this, and then you have to give a range between this year and this year. So when somebody just confidently shouts out, oh, 72 million years old, it's bullshit, and there's probably a reason they like that number 72, which we'll get to. We got some dupe and delight. We're pointing. In my opinion, it's just an art project. Somebody just made this. Like, how could you prove that somebody didn't just make this a year ago? Didn't just...
They test it, Hans. They test it. You don't know how to test it, so you don't get to.
Just make this 2 weeks ago. Well, I think this is more than 2 weeks old, this video, but you get what I'm saying. And that's the thing about museums, too. It's like you'll never know. Am I looking at a real object? Am I looking at a reproduction? And usually museums will only display reproductions, and they'll tell you, oh, we have the real thing in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, they don't even necessarily have it. Sometimes you'll get a reproduction and the actual one is held at a different museum or university where it's being actually studied. It doesn't mean it's not real. Do you know what a reproduction is? It doesn't mean it's a hoax.
Okay, notice the music and the children stuff. This is like stuff children do, where you have, like, think of somebody had to come up with this footage of putting sand on top. This is probably just stock footage.
I mean, this literally is stock footage, you're correct, but that doesn't mean they're not trying to approximate a real thing that is done. This is, I would imagine, just for the stock footage, but there are actual people, paleontologists, who go out and look for these things and dust stuff off. Daima Oni-chan with 40 bits says he keeps going on about models, but I bet he couldn't even put together an entry-grade gunpla. Spare Keys says, I'm 1,000% confident my childhood self could successfully debate him on dinosaurs. You're probably right.
But look at the childlikeness of this is something that I want you to notice in this video. How they treat people like children with
I mean, it's just a light educational video. Not meant to be like the focal point of your day, Hans. It's just supposed to be light, and it's just generic filler music.
Information. Probably because they start this brainwashing with a child, so they just keep it going. They keep the childlike aspect of outer space and dinosaurs. And yes, the whole thing about dinosaurs is people can't even look at chickens today without saying, look, it's like a dinosaur. So that's how the programming, they always want your mind to go there. And that's why they're consistently talking about birds. Birds are from dinosaurs. Birds are from dinosaurs. Birds are from dinosaurs. Because they want so that when a human looks at a chicken, they go, whoa, look, it's like a dinosaur. So people literally, their brain...
I had dinosaur for lunch, and I'm going to have more for dinner.
...live in this weird constructed matrix.
Good luck, H-Baird. I'm glad you're also having dinosaur for dinner.
Where the first thing that they go to, their mind goes to something that allegedly was here millions of years ago. Like, how crazy is that? We can't just look at a chicken and be like, yeah, that's a chicken. It's people...
Chickens are chickens, fun fact.
First thing they say when they see a chicken, that's like a dinosaur. To me, that just...
I guess I don't see people seeing chickens enough. I don't have a sample size to speak on what people say when they see chickens.
Shows you the brainwashing. It shows you that people live. Where people live is a construct of the mind, and it is so heavily so heavily influenced by their indoctrination into the
Oh, don't
Masonic
apologize, Densetsu. I like when people chat.
BS system.
The more people chat, that's like better for me. So I don't ever feel like, oh, I don't want to chat in YouTube or Twitch. Like, no, chat, please.
I'm gonna skip through just because, you know, here's the smirky. Whatever.
We see the whole skeleton very clearly, although some body parts are still embedded inside the dinosaur egg.
Too much dupe and delight on that one for me. Where was they had some really cool day 17, day 18, 19, 20. Anyway, this was all about chicken. Oh, dinosaurs are just like birds. That's what the main thing of this. Here we go. We're getting to the good stuff.
Using its beak, and this behavior has long been thought unique to birds, but now we see evidence in our fossil that even in non-bird dinosaurs,
some interesting
they
physics.
might have the same type of pre-hatching behavior.
That's an orange brush as far as I can tell.
I mean, it is. This is also clearly at an actual children's, like, center where they have activities like this. You see how sparkly the sand is? Like, that's not normal sand. This is, like, play sand. I don't know if anyone ever had this at a zoo near them, but when I was a kid, they had basically a big sand pit that had fake dinosaur bones or replicas of dinosaur bones buried, and you would pretend like you were a paleontologist looking for them, and you had brushes that you could use. That's where they filmed this stock footage, is at one of those.
Got some more.
Trey says, as a person who has chickens, no, they don't say, look at those dinos. If they did, I would 100% have called myself a dino rancher. You should call yourself a dino rancher. Also, can I have fresh eggs, please?
Cool.
I did not know you have chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I guess you said has had. That's previous. You get new chickens, send me eggs. Not really, those are perishable. That would go bad.
Alright, what do you think of that? I just want to talk briefly at the end of this about the number 72, because it has some interesting things. Well, it's half of a gross, or it's 6 dozen. A gross is a big thing that comes up. I remember all the time growing up reading the Oriental Trading Magazine, and it kind of fascinated me that everything, it's like you had to buy it in a gross, and how that's a dozen.
Yeah, that's their whole business model, is selling lots of tiny, crappy things that you can give away as, like if you're a teacher and you want to give little treats or toys to your students to motivate them, you can buy a ton of them, right? Or for like a kid's party, some sort of activity.
So this is half of that, 72. And it has a ton of interesting mathematical properties because the number 72 is highly, highly divisible. And this is a thing that comes up in math. Like the base 10 number system, the fact that we have a base 10 number system, not all cultures have done that. And there's reasons to have a different base number system, especially when it comes to things like divisibility. Like the number 10 is only divisible by the number 2 and 5. So there's been cultures in the past that used base 20 or like base 60. And
base 12 was the one that, why our clocks are 12 24-hour clocks.
There's so much more divisibility going on.
60 minutes in an hour.
So that's interesting.
24 hours in a day.
But more than that, the number 72 comes up with a regular pentagon. And this sort of stuff, I think, is that people in times past, math is a way to seek God. Because math is the nature of the creation, of God's creation, of the way that our minds work, of logic. God had to make logic, or logic just works the way it does naturally. But I think that is the obsession.
That was borderline heretical, Hans.
With geometry and studying these things, why they really like to pick up on these numbers, because it hints at God's creation, the way that God made the universe. And not that I believe in outer space spinny ball things, but just like ideas, truth. Math is just true. And so 72 pops up with the regular pentagon. So that's very important, of course. The pentagon, the shape, it's like the pentagram. Obviously, the satanic people like it. So 72, it could be a shout out to Baphomet or something. The pentagram.
72, big ups to Baffo. Woo! I saw someone the other day who had an awesome Baphomet tattoo. She was cool. Peeplord with 40 bits says, Hannah, I've got a rescue fighting chicken in my living room. I'm rehabilitating right now. Usually when people see chickens, they go, is that your chicken? Especially when we run errands together. Like, yeah, it's my effing chicken. Do you think I'm some kind of chicken beast master? What is wrong with you? What do you think this chicken is doing? It's in the home department. Goddamn contracting shit. Or contracting.
Let me start. This got kind of out of order. In religion, so if you go to just the Wikipedia article in the number.
Also, I was at the store the other day and I went through the line and someone had like their pronoun pins and their pronouns were they, it, and they had like a bunch of cat girl pins, like not just cat pins, cat girl pins. And I kind of looked at them and they looked at me and they knew I knew and I knew they knew I knew. It was funny.
Number 72, there's tons of interesting math properties, and I think it is an interesting, cool idea. Like one day we will be able to ask God about numbers and stuff, like why each number. God knows why each number is special, and all of the any special property that could ever be true about any number, God knows, which is very fascinating. And I think part of why people study number theory, why people are interested in these things, it's like learning about God when you learn about deep mathematical truths. And notice religion, this number 72 comes up a lot. Is it symbolic? Does it have to do with that Pentagon thing?
Because this has got to be numerology as evidence on the bingo card, right?
The whole 72 degrees things, like there is some human construct here at a certain point. Do we know that God uses 360 degrees in a full revolution? And to go back by the divisibility things.
Hans is rolling on E, jealous.
Well, 36 is half of 72, and 36 is a highly divisible number. 6 times 6, it has tons of divisors. So that is part of, at least...
He with Goblin says, sorry, this is off topic, but this tweet from Cooker Watch is interesting. She managed to locate the numbers for the buyers of those stupid Trump NFTs, and the distribution of purchases is sus, like money laundering territory. Thoughts? Oh boy, I'll take a look, but I don't have the expertise to say if something's money laundering or not. I found something interesting about Donald Trump's new trading cards. So far, 2.5 million have been raised and 25,000 have been sold, but not to 25,000 people like you think, but only to 1,380 people. It's not everyday Americans buying one or two of these things, but entities buying in bulk. That is strange. That maybe should be looked into. I can't make any statements myself, because I don't have the expertise. But that is interesting.
At least one explanation for why we might use 360 degrees in a full rotation, because
there's a girl at your work that does something similar and it's a power move because her pins are bad dragon pins.
So heavily divisible. You can break it down, and you would want to do that. You would want to be able to divide a circle into many parts. And so I'm just saying 72, not every culture probably had 72. I think you would have to be using 360 degrees. 72 attached with the Pentagon. Anyways, let me know if you know exactly why there's 360 degrees in one rotation. Maybe somebody has an interesting idea. Who knew they were getting a math lesson today?
I think it's because the people who developed geometry used a base 12 number system.
Well, I thought this was interesting. I'm just going to read through some of these. In religion, the number of languages spoken at the Tower of Babylon, according to later tradition, was 72. That just seems like gematria type things, and that they chose the number 72 not necessarily because it's like the literal number, but it could be. They were very into numbering things. Have you ever read the Bible when they pull out all the fish, when Jesus tells them throw your net on that side, and they pull it out, and they literally sat there and counted the number of fish that they pulled out. So they were very interested in counting the number of things, because I think they did want to get information from that. They were getting information from numbers, and specific numbers had special meaning. They were very into the symbolism of things. So if you counted how many of things there were, and it came up as...
Dr. Seuss was onto this with his magnum opus, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
a certain number, that would be a sign. There's old depictions of Jewish people as being really into counting things. Have you heard of...
King Zalshir, thanks for your membership on YouTube. Much appreciated.
about throwing a bunch of rice on the ground in front of a
That's
vampire?
vampires. That's vampires. Vampires have an obsession with counting. That's why the Count from Sesame Street is a vampire. Because he counts, and he's the Count, and vampires historically have an obsession with counting.
Because they gotta count it. What else? I feel like I was gonna say... Oh, 72. One possibility about 72 is that, in a gematria sense, is that it reduces to 9, which is a big number associated with Satan a lot, you know, number 9. And it starts with a 7, which is a very powerful number. So 72, just on first glance, does seem as a very powerful number. 72 starts with a 7, it sums to 9, so could be, a lot of times there's not...
7 is a strong independent prime number that doesn't need any numbers that multiplied by itself will equal that number. Hell yeah.
One reason for things. A lot of times a number will have many different appeals to it, and it's, I would almost say it's never just one thing. They're symbols, and different people make it out to be different things at different times. The number of companions, you start to... Cases like this, like the number 72 had way too many entries in the religious things. I imagine, I didn't do this, I imagine if I went to the number 71 or if I went to the number 73, I imagine, could be wrong, that there wouldn't be as many entries in the religious things involving those numbers. So, like the fact that I'm seeing Zoroaster, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, the number 72...
Zoroaster.
Popping up
as in Zoroastrianism.
A lot in religious things, it makes me feel like it could be a special number that people are using symbolically. And maybe it didn't equal exactly 72, but they wanted to portray a specific meaning using that number. It's the conventional number of disciples sent forth by Jesus in Luke 10. It's the number of names of God, according to Kabbalah. I guess in the Catholic version, if you include the Book of Lamentations... Oh, if Lamentations is considered to be a part of the Book of Jeremiah. This was interesting, that the current distribution of the Book of Revelation is 22 chapters, but the oldest known division of the text is the Greek in 72 chapters. I don't know anything about in the Greek or in the other versions of the Bible. I just stick to King James myself.
Guitarist says, Zor roast her. An alien named Zor begins to drop the hardest yo mama joke this side of the galaxy.
The degrees of Jacob's ladder were the number of 72, according to the Zohar. The number of disciples of Confucius who mastered his teachings. Some Jainism thing, some Egyptian creation thing. So, seems to be coming up a lot. This was interesting in whatever that is, the number of planets between hell and heaven.
What? How far away is planet
Seems
hell?
Like an important number. Let me know if you know any interesting things of 72. The number of demons sealed away by King Solomon. 72, with the lesser key. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. God bless everyone.
That was abrupt. Okay, I think we're done for the day. Oops. So thank you everyone for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow, and I think we're gonna do VHS Vault tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Appreciate you. If you haven't already, give me a follow on Twitch or a subscription on YouTube if you haven't. I stream most days. We do all sorts of fun stuff. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Toriador says, is it 2 trillion years in the future? The Milky Way collides with the Mocha Galaxy. The new combined galaxy and is known as the Latte Collision. Uh-huh. Alright, have a good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. I'm hungry. I'm gonna make a sandwich. Night, everyone.